welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am giving you the 2022 releases that I'm very excited for that are also queer. Last year I did a video about the 2021 releases, about mid-year, about now, May is when I did the last year's video. It was specifically sapphic books only. For this video I want to do all identities, so LGBTQ plus all of them. I want to include all of them under this umbrella because I think that it gives room for me to talk about more books I'm excited about. And on that note, as always, if you hear any beeping, whistling, animal sounds in the background, I live in a zoo and my life is run by a small parrot named Picasso, so I don't have any control. I don't. And I'm sorry. I'm super sorry about it. With the disclaimers and such out of the way, let me get this show on the road and start telling you about these books. I will say this isn't in any particular order. I did a lot of I gathered a lot of information before filming this because I wanted to make sure that I knew all of the books that were coming. I have my own lists, but sometimes you just don't, it's under a radar for you that a book is coming out. There's a couple on here that I was like, oh, that series is continuing. I didn't even realize. So, you gotta do some extra research. So, they're not in any order. I could have done them in these is the order in which they're coming out, but I didn't. So, sorry about that. First up, we have None of the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. That is coming out September 13th, 2022. That is the third book in the Locked Tomb series. I believe there's a couple more that have definitely been contracted already for publication. I am very excited about the continuation of this series. I will say, if you have not read these books before, that they are always better upon reread, and it is because the type of writing is it feels nonsensical until it all makes sense, and it doesn't make sense until 75% in. And normally I don't recommend those kinds of books, but these are good, and then when you read them again, you're things click a lot faster, so it's kind of cool. The line that I have for this is, her city is under siege, the zombies are coming back, and all Nona wants is a birthday party. And as a bitch who loves a birthday, I fully understand that. I do. I get it. Then we have The Ones We Burned by Rebecca Mix, coming out November 1st, 2022. The kind of funny thing about Becca Mix is that she's pretty well known on the internet and has a pretty big following. So she wouldn't be a new name to most. I don't know. I feel like she wouldn't be. But I don't know her because of Twitter. I know of her because her best friend is somebody that I know in real life. I saw her literally the other day. She's sent me gifts before. We're friends. We text. It's just kind of funny how small the world is, that my friend from where I live in Texas is best friends with Rebecca Mix, who does not live in Texas. Anyway, this book is essentially about our blood witch assassin Ranka, I'm not sure, who has been sent to marry, who is this? What is his name? She sent to marry the prince, whose name I don't see, so we're just gonna call him the prince, and kill him. But turns out that he's super, super sweet and kind, but he's very quiet and shy and doesn't want to marry her, and also she's a major crush on his sister, Princess Aramis, who I may be saying incorrectly. Super smart. So Ranka, I believe, is a himbo, and then Aramis is not. So that's super fun. Love that. I'm excited for this for a lot of reasons. It touches on a lot of the fantasy tropes that I really, really enjoy, but it's also, the cover's beautiful. It seems like it's going to be kind of horror fantasy, or it has the potential to have the kind of body horror that I like in fantasy, not necessarily being a horror book, but when they, end their descriptor with, as the bodies pile up, a monster may be exactly what they need. Hello, tell me more. I like those kinds of concepts in fantasy, and I think that this is going to be a fun one. But we'll see. We'll see. I am always afraid when a book is super hyped to me that it will disappoint, especially after the way that the end of 2021 and 2022 have gone so far. No shade, but all the shade at the same time, Next we have How to Succeed in Witchcraft by Aislinn Brophy. That is coming out September 27th, 2022. I've actually not heard anybody talking about this one, which is interesting because of the way that there's been a couple of like contemporary magic-esque books that have come out recently, and admittedly I think they were also romance, so maybe that's why more people talked about them, but I'm kind of surprised that nobody's talked about this one. I hadn't seen it until I was doing my own research, and I was like, oh, I want to read this. So this book is about Shay Johnson, who got into this like magical magnet school. She's like a witchy super witch. Like, she's super fucking good at being the smartest. You know, you think about like AP class having, dual credit having kids in high school. That's the vibes I get from this. But the only thing that is keeping her from a full ride scholarship to another school, her dream university, is another girl named Ana Alvarez. I don't know if it's Ana or Anna, but I am assuming because of the name Alvarez that it is Ana, but I could be wrong. I could just be assuming, and I'm also really implying that this person is of the same ethnicity as everybody that I know in Texas, so I could be wrong. Alright, anyway, moving on. But to get this scholarship, she has to impress Mr. B, who does the drama class. Shay has this kind of shitty experience with Mr. B, don't know what it is yet, and then so does Anna also, I think. That's what it seems like. And Anna and Shay, enemies to lovers in a contemporary setting, contemporary fantasy setting. This is the vibes I'm getting. I don't know this for a fact. Maybe they kill Mr. B, that would be cool. I don't think that they do, but I wouldn't be mad about it if that's where this book went. I wouldn't complain about it. Also, again, very sorry about the bird. This is the second time I'm filming this, actually, because he was worse last time. But I can only do so much, so I'm very sorry. I really want to film this for y'all. Next up, we have The Scratch Daughters by Hannah Abigail Clark. That is coming out November 22nd, 2022. And for those of you that don't know, Clark likes to be referred to as Clark. Not like Clark, goes by Clark and uses he, they pronouns, so I just want to... Anyway, I have not heard a lot about Scratch Daughters. I know that it was pushed a couple of times, the release date, and that was a little bit nerve-wracking. I read Scapegracers. This is the sequel to Scapegracers. I don't know if I said that. I read Scapegracers, I don't know, 5 times now. I have the audiobook, I listen to it regularly, and I'm nervous about The Scratch Daughters coming out just because I feel like we haven't heard a lot about it and it hasn't been hyped at all, and I don't know if the series is going to continue. From what I remember is that it was like signed for 3 books, so I'm really hopeful, but Clark seeming less excited about it makes me worried about what we're going to get into our hands and if it's not what Clark had initially like wanted or dreamed about. So I have that concern. I don't know if that makes sense, and it could be totally not valid, but I have that concern. I don't know if it's fair or not, though. Next we have They Drown Our Daughters by Katrina Monroe, and that is coming out July 12th, 2022. This is a horror book, and I don't really know why it is in the lists as queer. Like, I didn't see anything that outright said that why, other than some stuff on Goodreads, but so I'm not really sure, but it's a horror book, and I love horror, so you're getting it. They say Cape Disappointment is haunted, that if you can hear the call of the water, it's already too late. When Meredith Strand returns to her childhood home on the eve of her divorce, young daughter in tow, the Cape seems more haunted by regret than any malevolent force. Now here's the thing about this. I love haunting books. I love them. But I hate when a book that says it's a haunting, paranormal horror, I hate when they're like, but it was their trauma all along. No, fuck you. Sorry, respectfully, fuck you. I want a ghost. I want a demon. I want an evil spirit. I live with trauma already. I don't want it to be what's haunting the Cape. So if they disappoint me, I'm gonna be very upset about it. I'm not gonna fight them or anything, but I'm gonna be pretty upset, you know? Then the next 3 books that I have on this list are all continuations of series, so that's exciting for me. Maybe not for you, but it is for me, so. First we have The Oleander Sword by Tasha Suri. That is coming out August 16th, 2022. That is the second book in the Burning Kingdoms series, which is it's the sequel to Jasmine Throne, if you didn't know. And I'm hopeful that there is going to be an Illumicrate matching edition for the sequel, but the problem is that I don't have the Illumicrate box anymore and I don't plan on getting it again, so I don't know what's going to happen there. Newly crowned Empress Malini and powerful Priestess Priya grappling with their choice to remake an empire and realizing that their love might not withstand the fight. I really like the idea that, so they coupled up in the midst of, you know, the drama of the ending. I'm not going to spoil anything. They do couple up, obviously, because they're coupled up in this descriptor. And being in a relationship, a brand new relationship in a non-traumatic experience is already hard to navigate for most. Because, you know, you don't know what they want, need, etc., the kind of reassurances that they need. Like, by difficult, I mean, like, it's tough because you're learning about the other person. Doing that while also, like, having just staged a coup and taken over an entire kingdom seems, like, really fucking stressful. You know? I personally wouldn't. And that's coming from me, who actually, like, feet in, head first, I don't know. Jumping into my relationship was like, here's my trauma and I'm still dealing with it and being stalked by my ex, thanks. Like, and I don't recommend it. I don't recommend that. And that is not even on the same level as taking over a kingdom. If I was trying to take over a kingdom, forget it. I would not be in a romantic relationship. Maybe it's because I just generally wouldn't think that I would be in a romantic relationship, but that's a whole other thing. Next we have Into the Riverlands by Ning Vao. I'm sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly. That is the next book in the Singing Hills cycle, and it comes out October 25th, 2022. If you see me looking over here, it's because that's where my notes are. I didn't just memorize this stuff, y'all know better than that. My memory is fucking horrible. Wandering cleric, she of the Singing Hills travels to the Riverlands to record tales of notorious near-immortal martial artists who haunt the region, which is the gist of the first two books. On the road to Bethany Docks, they fall in with a pair of young women far from home and an older couple who are more than they seem. As she runs headlong into an ancient feud, they find themselves far more entangled in the history of the Riverlands than they ever expected to. I did not realize that the series was getting another book. I don't know why I didn't realize that, but I just didn't think it was getting a third book. And I'm kind of excited about it. I don't remember if we left like on a I don't remember the ending of the last one. I'm gonna be very transparent about that, but they are snack-sized. They are novellas, generally very short, easy to get through snacks. So I'm like, all right, I'm okay with that. It'll be good. It'll be a good time. So, like, reassuring myself, like, it'll be fine. And then we have The Last Hero by Lyndon Lewis. That is coming out November 8th, 2022. That is the last book, question mark, or the next book. I don't know how many books there's going to be, but I assume it's the last book. The first of the First Sister series. I liked the first book a lot. The second book I liked slightly less, but not for any real reason other than it was a little bit overly complex for me as a reader, and I recognize my faults when it comes to reading fantasy in that way. The first book, though, made me cry, hurt my feelings. The second book, again, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't, like, my favorite. Would I put it in my sequel syndrome video that I will one day eventually make? No, it was fine for a sequel. It just wasn't, like, a 5-star sequel, you know? You feel me? I enjoyed it, though. It was a good time. So this next book I'm excited about. If it is the last book, and I'm assuming it is the last book, I am excited to see how the series kind of rounds out at the end. With most of these, because they are fantasies, I will be rereading anything that had a book before it. The only times that I don't really reread before reading the new book anymore is with middle grade. I used to never reread and then just go in blind and be like, who the fuck are these guys? Because when you read as much as I do, it's very tricky to hop in and out of stories and continue on a story. So I had to be more conscious of those choices when I was making them. So that's the gist of it. That's my plan with rereading series and so on. And that is it. Those are the 8 books that I am excited about that are queer coming out in 2022. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, let me know how I can make it better for you the next time I do a release video, which is not very often. I don't make those often. Anyway, if you didn't enjoy this video, let me know how I can make it better for you. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Also turning that notification bell on or whatever I'm supposed to tell you to do, because apparently otherwise YouTube won't tell you I posted. But if you weren't sure, I post on Tuesdays and Thursdays every single week, no matter what, at 10 a.m. I am on schedule if nothing else. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourself. Okay, thanks, bye.